Recognizes Representative Hunter for a motion.
All right, Mr. Speaker, members, I'm going to make a motion, and then I want to be very open to the entire body on how this will unfold. Now, let me make my motion first. Mr. Speaker, members, I'm going to move to suspend all necessary rules for Monday, May 9th, that the House calendar will take up the following bills in this order: HB 274, HB 12, HB 272, HB 400. Now, members, that's all my motion is about. I need to make sure everybody understands that on Monday morning, before we begin these bills, there will be a member who is going to move all necessary rules be suspended to limit debate and limit all the rules, so you know exactly what's going to happen, so that this is not used. I'm going to guess that somebody's going to ask that these bills be limited to a certain amount of time, and then you will be voting up or down. My motion is not that today, but I want everybody to understand how this is going to unfold. My motion is to set 274, 12, 272, 400 in that order. What we will do the rest of the day is to go back in the calendar and go through your order.
Representative Hunter, let me make sure that we all understand. You're going to move to suspend the rules to place 274, 12, 272, and 400 at the front of the calendar on Monday morning.
Correct. I have moved.
And this motion is not coupled with the motion that's going to be made by someone on Monday to suspend all necessary rules and taking up 274, 12, 272, and 400 on Monday.
No, there will be a motion made to limit time of discussion on those bills.
And will you please explain to all of us why we are going to suspend the rules, why there's a motion to suspend the rules today to bring them 274, 12, 272, and 400. Why?
My purpose is so that there's one, the calendars committee is going to meet, and if I get all the paperwork, these bills will all be eligible on Monday anyway. The second reason is that if certain folks in here want to know certainty of the bills, this provides the certainty of when they're going to be brought up. And it will allow certain bills to go forward on the calendar today, and then the Speaker will decide when we break for the day.
Okay. But I want to understand clearly why you are making this motion to suspend the rules to put all of these bills up front first. And you and I came in at the same time in 1989. I am at a loss to understand why you are putting forth the motion and the merit of the motion.
It's very simple. I think that we have discussed three of these bills. We are coming up with one. There needs to be certainty to both sides of the aisle. They will be coming back or being considered today, and I think it is good to get on the calendar and let everybody know exactly the order and what restrictions may be requested.
Fully understanding that there have been many bills that have gone down by a point of order. Now, in this session and in sessions in the past, sessions in which you and I started and up to this point, this is not an exception to the way this House has run now or in the past, where many, many, many bills, major bills, have gone down on a point of order. I am trying to understand in this legislative session why there is this motion to suspend the rules, to bring up these bills at the front of the calendar in the last week of the House when we're going to be considering House bills in this order. And since you brought up the motion that's going to be made on Monday, why there will be another motion to suspend the rules to limit the time or suspend all necessary rules as relates to time in dealing with 274, 12, 272, and 400.
Well, Mr.
You
Turner,
really-
Mr. Turner, if you want, we'll have the person make that rule today.
It is that
All
person-
I'm doing is trying to provide some order, and I'm trying to provide some specifics. If you and others don't want it, we can withdraw the motion and go forward. I was actually trying to help and provide some clarity. That's the reason. There's no other intent. There's nothing else. You and I have been here since 1989. We've had plenty of bills go down.
Right. And Representative Hunter, let me just say this. I was not a participant in coming up with this arrangement.
Sure.
So it is not something that I want.
Sure.
It is something that whoever is making the motion want, and those who support the motion want.
Sure.
To me, for someone who's been here since 1989, when you suspend the rules and all necessary rules, you are making a major, major step. And you are suspending the rules that the House put in place at the beginning of this session. I am keenly interested in the integrity of the House. And no matter how sacrosanct any bill may be, I believe the integrity of the House and the House rules should always be protected. And a suspension of the rules is a major, major departure in terms of that House rules. When we are going to do that, I think you and I, the members of this House, the press, the general public, ought to have a clear understanding as to why we are suspending the rules for these particular bills, coupled with the fact that on Monday morning or today, and it doesn't matter whether to me, whether it's today, whether it's on Mother's Day, whether it's on Monday, or whether it's the day before we sign it out, why we are going to suspend all the necessary rules to deal with 274, 12, 272, and 400. That's what I'm trying to get a clear understanding. But
And I've given you the entire background.
And with all due respect, I do believe that this is a significant departure from the way we have practiced in this House. And I have stood in the Speaker's box defending the process and the integrity, even at times in very controversial means. I do not agree with what is taking place here. And I do think it is an abridgment of what this House stands for. I do, with all due respect. And you know I respect you highly, but I do not agree with this motion or the motion that's going to come on Monday or today. Whenever it comes, I am not in agreement.
Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Martinez-Fischer, for what purpose?
parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Chair, please articulate to me the specific rules that Chairman Hunter is seeking to suspend.
All rules.
Mr. Hunter has made the motion. I'll ask Mr. Hunter to respond to you.
All rules.
So
Anything that's in your book.
the entire rule book. The entire rule book, you want to
Anything
suspend?
in the book. All necessary rules.
Well,
Whatever it
there's a
means.
difference.
There isn't a difference. It's all necessary rules, which we have used since 1989, that language. I'm suspending all the rules, and if it is that are necessary, and I'm ready for the House to proceed.
And I'm under a parliamentary inquiry. I want to know which necessary rules are those?
Members, I move
Speaker.
that we vote because it
Mr.
deals
Speaker.
with all necessary
Mr. Speaker.
rules in connection with this motion.
Mr.
I move
Speaker,
forward.
may I be recognized?
Mr. Martinez-Fischer, for what purpose?
May I be recognized
For what purpose?
for my response to my parliamentary inquiry that was not answered by the chair?
Could you restate your inquiry?
Chairman Hunter has indicated that he wishes to suspend all necessary rules. And so that we're clear, I want to know every necessary rule he is seeking to suspend.
Chair recognizes Representative Hunter.
All necessary rules that allow us to take up and consider this particular motion or proceedings like this.
Do you have any numbers?
Let me see. 1 through 14 fall in there. And anything that falls in the rule book that is a necessary rule. We have talked about necessary rules since January. You have never asked for a definition. Members, I move passage.
Mr. Speaker.
If you do not want to vote for this, fine.
Mr. Speaker.
If you do, move passage.
Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Martinez-Fischer.
Mr. Speaker. Parliamentary inquiry.
The gentleman's time's expired.
Under Article
Mr.
14, Section 4,
Martinez-Fischer.
this requires 1 hour notice to the body. Yes or no? This rule suspension requires unanimous consent.
Mr. Martinez-Fischer, the gentleman's time has expired. Would you
Mine
like to move
hasn't.
to extend it?
Mine hasn't. I'm asking the chair. You're the chair. You're the arbiter of these rules. We threw out a chair because they didn't enforce the rules. And if you don't want to enforce the rules, that's on you. It's not on me.
Chair recognizes Representative Davis for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I think that we've demonstrated that we have a problem here in the House with regard to direction and how we're going to move forward. At this time, I think it would be appropriate and probably the most that we can do to show some respect for this House if we just adjourn until doing business today, and that's my motion. I suggest we move to adjourn to Monday, 10 a.m.
Members, you've heard the motion. Vote aye, vote nay. 86 ayes and 96 nays. The motion fails.